Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Films by Jeremy. And I know what I said when I first picked up the Lumix S9. I'm not caging this thing, I'm not rigging it out. The goal is to keep it as minimal as possible. I knew this was gonna be a lie immediately, that I wasn't gonna rig up this camera, that this camera was gonna stay a naked dad cam essentially. I'm not a dad, I'm a cat dad, but you know what I mean, just around the house camera, and it's turned into a little bit more than that. I've been using it for weddings, for real estate, for personal content, of course. I just shot an entire keynote with it, and that was due to the unlimited recording time. And since I had it on my gimbal, I was every 20 minutes stopping the recording, starting the recording, so it didn't overheat and die on me. So immediately after promising you guys that I would not be rigging up this camera, I went ahead and I bought myself the SmallRig Lumix S9 cage. It has like some silver detailing here. It's a pretty standard, sturdy cage with an Arcus Swiss bottom plate here. It's a nifty little cage. And the point of this video is that SmallRig a while back, and shamedly so, like maybe too long ago, sent me this wireless follow focusing system kit, the Lite edition. And SmallRig, if you're watching, I truly apologize for taking my sweet time with this video. Life and work has gotten quite busy, but we're here now, and everything that I use today will be in the link below. I do get a kickback. SmallRig did send me this free of charge to keep. They haven't asked for this back yet, which has been shocking since I haven't made a video, so for all they know, I just took it and ran. And they also sent me this SmallRig Film Riot Calibration 10-in-1 multi-tool kit. But yeah, ever since I got the S9, my brain starts turning, and I always want to rig it out in some way, shape, or form. We talked about rigging up this camera and different solutions on Matt Danyu's podcast. And if you haven't seen that episode yet, check it out. And maybe you have, and that's why you're here today. And if so, thank you. Thanks for joining. The point of today's video is to rig up this camera. So yeah, let's start off with the unboxing. Of course, with all SmallRig things, it comes in this recyclable box. They're pretty good with having their stuff be a little less plasticky. Inside the box is another box, and this is where the goodies lay. So let's open it up. Hopefully nothing falls out. So this is the kit. With everything inside, you'll need to rig up your camera for some follow focusing, except for one thing, and I'll get to that a little bit later. So here we have the follow focusing wheel, and this is what you're going to be using to pull focus wirelessly. The motor, a 15mm rod, a USB-C to USB-C cable, an arm for the rod. I've always needed one of these. A rubber gear for those lenses that don't have the gears, and two little screws here for the rail arm. But before we put the cage on, I could simply use the tool that it gives me in the cage, but I'm gonna use the multi-tool. And again, they could have just used bubble wrap here, but they have like a paper bubble wrap, which I like. And it comes in this cute little carrying pouch. So there's an assortment of Allen wrenches here, and there's also Phillips head screwdriver. There's a lot of little doohickeys on this thing to help you build your rigs without having to go through that Ziploc bag full of Allen wrenches and coins, unless that's just me. So let's use this to build our rig. We're gonna put the camera, the S9, in the SmallRig cage. You'll notice that everything I'm using today is all by SmallRig. This cage is my own cage. They did not send this to me. I just wanted a cage for the S9. We're gonna use the little flathead here on the multi-tool to screw in the cage to the camera. Also, do we like the mic arm? I'm realizing while I'm doing this that it might be in the way. We are secure cage on the camera. Sweet. So I'm using the SmallRig 99 battery, and throughout my testing before recording this video, there is one issue with this battery, and it was that when I plugged in both the motor and the monitor to the battery, the motor would then cut out. And so I used my Momen battery here, the 99 Momen battery, and that seemed to work just fine. I think that the SmallRig battery wasn't giving enough power to power both the monitor and the motor here. And so I don't know if that's just my battery. So I'm gonna take my SmallRig V-mount base plate here, slide it right on to the Arca Swiss, lock it. I really love how easy it is to put this plate on without having to screw on 100 different things. And I'm gonna be using Series 35mm anamorphic lens, Saturn series as my lens here of choice. If you're curious about that lens, I made a video on it, so feel free to check that out. And since there isn't like a great option for using an external monitor for the S9 without having cables popping out over here, again, on Matthew Dangyu's podcast, we went over that as well. And that's one thing I would love to see is some sort of attachment here to have the cables reroute somewhere else so I could grip this without cables popping out of the side here. I'll just be using the built-in monitor, which is plenty enough. And a top handle. We're gonna tighten it up with the multi-tool. I'm gonna put the rod arm on the side of the camera. The case, by the way, does come with an Allen wrench. So here we have it. The arm is now securely on the cage. And now we're gonna toss the rail in here as well. Tighten that up. It's looking pretty cool. Next thing is we're gonna be putting the motor. So you're gonna wanna make sure that the teeth of the gears and the lens are perfectly connected like so. And the next step is we're gonna power the motor. So we're gonna use our USB-C and plug it into the battery, feed it around, and plug the USB-C cable into the motor like so. And you can see here with the green light that we are officially powered on. And the focus wheel is totally wireless, so you don't need to power it. It is already self-powered. And to charge it, you've got to use the USB-C in the bottom here. So yeah, we're just gonna turn this on and calibrate it. This is probably the easiest follow focusing system to set up. And I owned Tilted Nucleus's follow focusing system at one point too, and I did not like the setup process of it because it was a little too, awkward and complex, or maybe I'm just a little slow. What I find handy too is I hold down the camera and the motor because I find that it shifts the lens quite a bit and messes up the auto calibration. Now, it could just be my cage, it could be the lens, it could be the mount, it could be a whole myriad of things, but this is just how I do it. So all you gotta do for the auto calibration setup is you just hold the calibration button. And just like that, it's calibrated. Or let's say they didn't have a cinema lens with hard stop focusing and it was more of a focus by wire, I believe that's what it's called, with kind of an unlimited focus spin, and you have to calibrate it manually. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna, once again, hold the calibration button. And as soon as it starts doing the auto calibration, push and hold the calibration button again until it stops auto calibrating. You'll see that the A is now flashing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your first focus point. So you're gonna manually just pull your lens to your first focus point there. And then I'm gonna press calibrate one more time and it should now go to the B. And you're gonna now roll your lens over to the last focus point, and then you're gonna hit calibrate one more time. And now it should be calibrated, just like that. So no matter what lens you're using, it is pretty easy to set up. I wouldn't even say pretty easy. It's incredibly simple to set up. Even I could do it within seconds. And so I mentioned earlier that there is a bit of a caveat with this kit, and specifically this kit, and is that they don't send you a mounting solution for the focus wheel to put it on the rail or anything like that. So it is strictly a handheld system unless you buy yourself an extra accessory to then put onto the camera yourself. I wasn't gonna buy that because I wanted to showcase how it works pretty much just out of the box. So just beware of that when you're buying this. You're gonna wanna buy something that can mount to the screw here, just on to either the rail, or if you have room on your cage, but I would say like some sort of clamp for the rail. And you're gonna want a battery solution too. So let's talk price. The SmallRig follow focusing light kit is gonna run you $169.99 US, and if you have the Maple dollars like I do, it's gonna run you $236.44 Canadian dollars. And the SmallRig multi-tool, $39.99 US or $55.62 Canadian dollars. And this is an incredibly useful tool that has been living in my camera bag for the past month and a half. Again, I'm so sorry, SmallRig. So yeah, I guess like one of the questions that you might be asking yourself, or you might want to know, is that really who is this for? This is for someone who is either shooting vlog style videos where you have a cinema or anamorphic lens and you want to film yourself, but you don't feel like consistently having to go over to your lens and pulling it and going back, checking. This way you could just kind of pull the focus, get the focus that you need, and hit record. Or if you have a wireless monitoring system, you could use this as a pro focus puller for a short film, or really whatever you want to use it for. There's, like anything, there's infinite use cases for film gear, really. And so that's it for me. I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, for tuning in, for following, subscribing, all that good stuff. And hey, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.